Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for taking your times for attending these sessions today. So topic for today, I will cover statistics for data analysis using Excel. I'm Dr. Hamza from Department of Surgery. So the learning objective for today is to understand the application of Excel features to perform basic to advanced statistical analysis. So I don't intend to take too much time today. What I aim to do today is just to make you understand and aware that Excel actually good enough depending on what type of data you have and also what type of statistic you plan to do. Excel can be a good option to produce adequate findings and meaningful results. So why Excel for data analysis? First, it's accessible and familiar. Everyone is familiar and can access Excel, and it can help you to visualize your data using chart and any visualization tools. And you can use built-in statistical functions to produce more complex statistical analysis. And it's cost effective because you don't need to go for trainings and buy software to conduct analysis. So before you start your analysis, first is to prepare your data to make sure to do some cleaning and organizing to make sure everything is properly labeled, no handling, no missing data, no duplicates. So the purpose is to ensure data quality and organization for accurate analysis. First, by handling missing data, you just can use count blank functions and to detect if there is any missing from your data. Second, remove duplicate. You can use using data tab and remove duplicates, and then make sure your data is formatted correctly. If the dates that should be formatted as date or numbers or text. Organize the data so that the header and the legend, if you visualize the findings later, it appropriately labeled and spot outliers. So there's a few ways to find outliers. One of the example is using scatter plots. For example, you can just select your data and go to the I think this is insert and then choose scatter plot, and then you can visualize if there is any outliers from your data. So for today, I will introduce you data analysis tool pack add-in. How to find this? You just open your Excel, go to tools, add-in, and then tick the analysis tool pack. This is for beginners. They only cover certain types of analysis. If you want to perform the analysis that covered by data analysis tool pack, you can just use this one. For descriptive statistic in Excel, this one actually you can produce descriptive statistic without using built-in, but you need to do it manually. For example, average, median, mode, standard deviation, minimum, max, and correlation. You can also filter the cell based on what condition you want. For example, for age, you want more than 40 years old only. So this one you can do it manually. But if you use the built-in, you can choose your data, select your data, and then go to data analysis, choose descriptive statistic, and then select your input range. Output range will be the cell that you want the output to appear lah. So this is the output. So you got everything in just few clicks lah, after few clicks. So you got everything instead of you need to do it one by one. So the other type of statistic you can do using Excel is inferential. For example, hypothesis testing using t-test, regression analysis, and ANOVA. So for t-test, t-test is statistical methods to compare the average value means of two groups. For example, for the example I have here, you can in Excel you go to data and then choose data analysis and select your variable range for the t-test and then select the cell for the output to appear. For example, this is for comparing math score and physics score for 8 students to check whether there is significant difference between them. So the findings here is you need to see for t-test is the means. So if you want to see here, the math score is better than the physics one. So the T statistic is 1.6 and the T critical two-tail here is 2.3. So to make sure if to see if this significant difference between two groups, if the T stat is greater than the two T critical two tails, then there is significant difference. But in this case, in these examples, the T stat is lower than the T critical two tail. So the finding is actually not significant difference. So we can conclude here that the math score is higher than the physics score on average, but the difference is not large enough to confidently say that it's not due to chance lah. So second example is ANOVA. ANOVA is analysis of variance. So it used to compare the means, which is the average of 3 or more groups, to see if there is a significant difference between them. So the example, there's a few types of ANOVA, but depending on what type of data you have, for the example here is single factor. So you just choose data analysis and then put your input range, select your output range. And then the most important thing to see here is the p-value, which is, you can see that it's greater than 0.05. When the value is greater than 0.05, you can see there is no significant difference between the group average lah. So the differences that we see here is maybe due to chance. The other types of analysis that can be done using analysis toolpack is regression analysis. So regression analysis is to understand the relationship between two things. It's between independent variables and dependent variables. So in this case, independent variables is match rate. Dependent variables is the goal scored. So how the example means that does playing more match help football players score more goals? So same methods, just choose regression. Put your input, so your y-axis should be dependent, which is goals scored, and your x-axis should be independent variables, which is match rate. And then usually you take residuals lah as the important findings you want to have. And then see the output here. So the things that we should observe here is the multiple R, the R square, which is 0.4052. This means that 40.5% of the variation in goals can be explained by match. So it's actually the closer to ones mean the strong the relationship. So this is the example here, only 40.5%. We can say that it's a moderate relationship. So playing more match somewhat explains scoring more score, but not really strong lah. So the other point that you need to see here is p-value. You can see that it's greater, the p-value here is greater than 0.05, meaning that there's moderate relationship and it's not statistically significant. So since the p-value is not below 0.05, we can't 100% confident that the relationship is real. It's not due to chance. It could happen, the difference could happen because of the chance lah. So there's other add-in availables that can be used using Excel. But for beginners, apart from the analysis toolpack, real statistic also a good start. StatPlus and Solver add-in also available in the Excel already. Just the same way like what I showed just now. And the other add in depending what type of data you have and what kind of analysis you want to conduct. And there is an example, it can be sometimes you need to pay, sometimes it's free, so it depends lah. So here is the point is to show you that it's possible. Just use Excel to conduct your analysis. Sometimes people are too scared to use SPSS or there's other software to the statistic. So this to show you that actually you can also perform meta-analysis using Microsoft Excel. For this case, there's no add-in required, but this paper by Neil et al. Meta-analysis and forest plot using Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So this paper published, they even provide us the template to put in our data, what type of study, how many events, how many sample size, and then they can generate the heterogeneity and the findings automatically lah. So in the paper, they actually show us how they generate the formula and how to interpret the findings. And we can even produce forest plot for meta-analysis and even publish the paper lah. I've tried this and it actually can be used. So if you want to maybe do meta-analysis, if you want to use Excel, it's actually possible because sometimes other type of software for meta-analysis, for example, RefMan, you need to attend more additional trainings, more money, maybe you need to buy something like that. So the strength of statistic using Excel, it widely is available. You can perform descriptive statistic and you can perform common tests and visualize your data. You even can customize your formula. However, it does have limitations for complex analysis. Analysis maybe not able to perform it, and it depends on what kind of add-in you install. And it could be time consuming if you want to manually understand how to set up the add-in and the formula. And it's not and it's inefficient for large data set because of the speed and memory in the Excel. So to decide whether or not to use your Excel, it depends what type of data and analysis you want to carry out. And you can decide to use other software if you need to do more advanced analysis or you need to manage large data set for your data. I think that's all. Maybe you have a question like, can we calculate sample size using Excel? I think for now, what I found we cannot lah. We need to have a software for sample size calculations. Maybe Prof. Dori want to comment on that?
Yeah, no. So sample size on Excel, if you're gonna calculate, you have to manually put in each of those values, but it's basically just using the G-Power method. So it's not gonna make any difference. Might as well just use the online calculators which are out there because there are a lot of formulas which you have to set up. So yeah, not so straightforward. I have some questions. So you were showing, like, I know that you were saying all the things you can do, like t-test and ONE and so forth. Do you have any live demonstration on how it works? Like a short step, or even just to do it mean and median or something like that, and a p-value between means, so that they can just see how it looks like when it's done live.
Kejap I try. I try to share my screen first. I have too many statistics open there. Can you see my screen? So for example, this descriptive statistic. You want to produce the outcome from here. Just use formula. I think formula. The Zoom is interfering my.
How is the bar?
Yeah, this is the bar. So, okay. Okay, so this data, and then data analysis, you choose descriptive statistic. Input range, you already select. Output range, it could be here. So it's automatically show here lah. You need to try in error lah because this is not accurately labeled kan. The example I showed just now is all from here lah. Data analysis. And the data analysis tool pack is limited to this kind of analysis tool. So your ANOVA correlations until t-test.
Technically, most of these are the basic things which they will end up using, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like for especially when they have RCTs and all of that, it'll be either PET, t-test, ANOVA, or if it's skewed, it will be the equivalent to it and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only more advanced when you have big numbers that you need SPSS. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, it's just a matter of clicking button. So the Excel, in case you can't get SPSS and your data is more of representing in terms of just looking at means and medians between groups or something like that, you might opt to just use Excel for your stats analysis rather than trying to look for the SPSS software. You probably want to look for SPSS software when it is things like survival function and those kind of things where you need to graph things. Yeah. Any for Virens here, do you want to give your 2 cents about using Excel for stats?
No.
Any questions for the ones here? Have you ever used Excel in your life? Jonathan, Shiyu. Have you guys used Excel before for anything? Yeah, hi, yeah, go ahead. Please answer. Thanks.
Yeah, but use Excel, but we do know that probably can by highlighting they will show the median and mode, but the details of it and the functions of it, I think just now Dr. Haisa have showed. Probably need to explore and play ourselves and with our own data set and see how it goes.
Yeah. So what's good is Excel has improved its ability. In fact, it used to be able to do t-tests and all of that even much before, but you have to type all those functions manually. Now it's a little bit more click the button, so which is good. So even if you might not be able to get that plug on bit, you can actually put equal and then select the columns and all of that as well. Manually select what you want to compare between two. If you want to do a t-test between column A and column B, and then you kind of say adjust for 2 tail or 1 tail, you can actually put the formula in. And that's how I used to use Excel sometimes, but now it's also done. They've upgraded themselves, obviously, because they need to keep up with all the other possible softwares which are out there. And so they also have just select things, and it just gives you the value automatically, and you don't need to even select any, do much selection. Yeah. But yeah, do try it out. The reason why I think Excel might be useful is something which is available for you even from home. Most of us will have the software as part of our laptop packages, whether it's Microsoft or Apple. So because you most likely get the Microsoft package, and if you're not going to be dealing with survival function and more complicated stats, you might just stick with Excel to get your p values. So I thought this would be useful for you guys. Yeah. Any other questions for Hamiza?
I think it's not only for statistical analysis, our daily life Excel is also very useful because
Yes.
whenever for applying for grant or any other reason, or even nowadays in the school also they teach the Excel because it's very useful to calculate the things.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Tanya. The other thing which is useful is when you do cost analysis. When you're looking at like looking at economic kind of studies, the economical kind of studies. In fact, you might want to use Excel instead because it actually, in fact, it was a software which was made more for those budgeting reasons, and so it's actually very useful when you want to do cost analysis or even cost effectiveness. You can use Excel, but of course then you need to put in your clinical factors and so forth. But it is a very good software for budgeting, as what Tanya brought up. Hamiza, do you know a little bit on how that can be done or shown, or any examples? No, not this. We will share some of that. Depending on any of you planning to do that as a study, like looking at cost analysis between treatments or between surgical techniques. No? What kind of studies are you all doing? Maybe we'll ask that. Maybe you can just give a brief, what's your research question? And then
Prof, I'm still here. So
Hi.
my study will be a cohort study, but I'm still finding out what are the best descriptive tests to use for my data set, because sometimes SPSS does is it does all the calculations for you. You don't really have to select what you want. So, but in Excel, probably we need to know what we want first.
Yes. So but I mean, you still need to know what your main outcome is going to, you're saying cohort study, are you comparing between, what are you comparing?
I'm doing
sure yet.
I'm actually by the rates of chemo and also survival.
Okay, so you probably will use SPSS, I suppose, yeah. But if you're looking at survival,
Yes, Prof.
okay. But having said that, some basic things you want to do, you can keep your data. I think one point which Hamida brought up is that actually Excel is an easy way to clean your data and keep it all, like you could use Excel to type up all your data and keep it as a place of data collection compared to SPSS, because Excel is accessible wherever you are, and it's easy to share with other collaborators. And only when you need to analyze, you might then move it to SPSS for analysis. So you can still keep it in Excel actually. Yeah. Next person, anybody else? We'll ask 2 or 3 more, and then I'll ask Hamida whether she wants to continue or we end the session early. Yeah. Guys, this is a good time for you to let us know what your research questions are. No? You don't know yet? Who else is here? Yazir?
Hi,
Yes. Hi.
my research is on hypersakit data, comparing the EMR versus the manual data. So it would be useful to use Excel when I can actually compare these two types of data, and I think I'll give it a try.
We can actually use Excel for what you're saying. I'm not sure about the overall study in this one, but I guess because you can do, if you're looking at correlation, that's also something which Excel can do actually. Yeah, how well the correlation is between the two data, or even if you're comparing how different they are, you can still use Excel. Yeah. Anybody else? One last person, and then I'm going to pass it back to Hamiza to tell her closing and so forth. No? All right, Hamiza, all yours.
I think I have nothing to add also. I think that's all probably.
Yeah. Okay. By the
Can
way,
I add something?
yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
I often find that the student always enter the data in the Excel. So, and they are confused how to do randomization, especially when they do RCT or something. So it's very useful to do and easy to do randomization in Excel. That can be useful. as well.
That would be very useful. If I'm not mistaken, Wei will be would like to know how. Yeah, Lee would like to know how. You Wei, because she's going to do RCT, so she might want to know how to randomize using Excel. Yeah, correct. You don't use it. Block randomization. Are you talking about, Tanya? Tanya, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Hello? You're talking about block randomization, is it? Or just
Can block
randomization?
or randomization. There are many ways to do, like few.
Okay. All right. So I guess rather than using the online randomization tool, there's also all these online things which
Yeah.
help you randomize. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
in simple Excel also can do that.
yeah. Good to know. And then you keep all your data in one place. I guess one last thing is I actually end up using Excel for certain things, especially for graphing and also for because I find that the SPSS sometimes the graph don't look nice, the bar graphs. I prefer how Excel, their bar graph looks better. So sometimes if you're planning to plot something, I would suggest use Excel. But rather than just using what SPSS spits out. Again, that you can have that discussion with your supervisors and see which is the best representative of your data. Okay, that's it.
True.
Thank you,
I
everyone.
also end up
Yeah.
doing the budgeting, and also actually I start using Excel when I start doing my literature review during my PhD. Because for literature review, sometimes we say this, there is no evidence, this, that thing. So my supervisor actually asked me to put all the information in the Excel. So it was really helpful, especially
Yeah.
to extract from the abstract and those things. So in a clear Excel chart, I could see what was the output of that study, something like that.
Yeah, that is true. Even when it looks like in a raw form, it's actually useful.
Yes, because
I
when
use Excel as well for
because
literature.
when we study at the beginning, we can remember, but after 6 months, 1 year, we can't remember. So when I used to open the Excel files and then can see, okay, this study did like this and the output was like that. And then even when writing the thesis time also, it's easy to like extract the data and write down the whole thing.
I'm just going to show a quick example what Tanya is trying to say so that you can see. But this is probably not this is just one example, but this is just us filtering it though, not summarizing it. Let me see if I can get hold of it. Okay, so I'm going to share screen for just quickly. I guess this is the last thing we're going to show you before we let you go. Okay. All right, this is actually when it's still in the works. I think it's a better example because then you can see that it's actually quite useful. So this is after searching all the references using the keywords. And when we are between authors who are supposed to differentiate, this was a review which we had to do, in 2022. And basically the first, obviously the decision is like people review the abstract and the paper on their own, and then they vote. And then we decide which papers are going to be included. It narrows down, and post that everyone ends up summarizing the data according to one key things which we wanted is that everyone defines the CME very differently. So we wanted to see in each of these papers what their definition is when they report it, and we kind of note down the study design and so forth. And we ranked it that when its level of evidence as high, when it's systematic review and meta-analysis, and we started why it's colorful is obviously retrospective studies are considered more lower ranked, and then when they don't clarify whether what kind of study it is, so that's why it's all colored like this. Okay, but individually we read and we summarize. As you can see, it looks like notes first, but then it gets cleaner and cleaner towards the end. Okay, and then it's very summarized. Obviously, you guys do a little bit of this when you come and present to us with your topic, but this is done for a systematic review, which was some time back. So this is what Tanya is talking about. Excel is useful for this. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we end here. Hello.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks, Prof.
You're welcome. So I think you get an idea that actually Excel is useful. The main reason why this is part of your talk is because I know SPSS now you can only, if you don't get the free version, the pirated version from outside, you have to use it within the campus. And I know a lot of y'all move around quite a bit, and you might not be on campus, you might be out posted outside of UM. So maybe Excel is probably the tool which you can use. And so that's why I wanted you all to know that actually you should adopt using it if your study only needs that software. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yep. Sometimes
All
when
right. Have a good
yeah.
rest of the day.
Mm.
Yeah. Hamiza, go ahead.
Sometimes it's too complicated. We just don't start the analysis. Yeah. Yeah, because SPSS is too difficult. Then we never start doing the our data analysis. So I
Yeah.
think good to try the Excel if you can use it for your data analysis. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prof.